Hello and welcome to Cooking with Gunnar. I am your host, Gunnar. Today we'll be cooking spaghetti bolognese. It's a lovely Italiano dish. Tastes a lot like tomato and herbs. Anyways, let's get straight into it. So, ingredients list.
1 large chopped carrot, 4 large chopped mushrooms, 2 medium-sized chopped brown onions,
Beef mince,
400 grams of Italian diced tomatoes times 2, Leggo's chunky bolognese sauce. You can get the red wine one, you can get the mushroom one, you can get the garlic one. I'm using the garlic one because I don't know, I just eeny, meeny, miny, made that shit. Tomato paste. You're gonna need like a couple of tablespoons of that, so you get them in 2 packs. Just fucking deal with the loss of excess taste. I don't give a shit. Italian herbs, spices and spice. 2 large chopped cloves of garlic.
and obviously 500 grams of spaghetti because that's all you can get it in. You just use however much spaghetti you want to eat. If you want a lot of spaghetti, cook a lot of spaghetti. If you want a little bit of spaghetti, cook a little bit of spaghetti. But you can only buy the 500 packs to get that. Alright, it's cooking time. Bang your pot on the stove. Get a decent sized pot because if your pot is too small, then your sauce is going to splash everywhere. Cleaning up just a pain in the ass. Bang that shit on heat. Put it on like high temperature and chuck in some olive oil. Alright, it's going to be for meat, so like it's about a teaspoon of olive oil. Or tablespoon, I should say. Tablespoon of olive oil. I let that shit heat up a bit until it starts running everywhere. That means your oil has thinned, as I explained in previous episodes, and if you haven't got it by now, then stop cooking. Alright, just kind of like rotate your oil around the pan so you don't chuck in a bit of meat and it just fucking starts sizzling to death because there's one spot that doesn't have any oil in it. You want to grab your beef mince, slice that shit open, and you're going to break it up just as you put it in the stove. Just fucking... Your pot should have been hotter than this by now, but I forgot to wait for it to heat up. That's a good shit. Okay, break it all up. Wash your hands. It's gonna wipe up the teeth now. Don't do that. Let's grab your spoon and just fucking go to town. Just smack the shit out of it. Break up your mince because if you leave like huge chunks of mince in there, you're just gonna hate yourself for it because it will just be shit. You won't be able to get any pasta, and your pasta to meat ratio will be off, and no one likes a pasta to meat ratio that does not exist. Alright, so once you got that all ground up and it's just starting to almost be fully brown, you're just going to want to chuck some salt and pepper into it. Season that fucking shit and mix it around. And just wait until you can't see any more pink, because you don't want pink, that's just gross. It's like getting a medium rare burger. What the fuck? Who's a medium rare burger, bro? So you just gonna want to cook all that shit until it's nice and brown, and you'll see a bunch of juices in the bottom. We want to get rid of that shit because it is unhealthy as fuck. Alright, now that your mince is fully cooked, right? Then you just bang it off heat. Bang, stop the sizzling. Mine was already sizzling because I turned it down because shit was taking too long. Wait, no what? I just turned it down because it was bubbling enough. I don't know. Anyways, you're just gonna want to get your slow-orchard spoon and drain all that shitty, gunky fat out. You don't have to get all of it, but just like majority of it because it's unhealthy as hell. Some people argue it adds flavour, but I mean, nah, bro. I don't want to be eating all that fat, yo. Then you're gonna tip that shit out. Bang. Bung it back on the stove, and then turn the heat back on. Get it hot, and chuck in a tablespoon of olive oil. Cook it until it's a bit of a thinner consistency again, and then we can start cooking up our sauce. Just chuck in your onions and your mushrooms. Fucking stir that shit around. Maybe turn it down a bit. Don't have it too high. You don't want to burn your onions. You just want to saute them. I don't know if it's sautés, I don't know, I'm not French. So once you've sauteed them for about 2 minutes, so they should be kind of in a bit of a softer consistency. Then you want to bang in your carrots, bang, and your garlic. Then you're gonna want to quickly bang in some herbs to season all your veggies up. That's a lot of herbs. And mix them all together. Cook them for like 2 minutes. Get them soft again like those. Once they're nice and soft, then you can just bang in all your sauces. I can grab your cans of diced tomatoes. Now I don't have any nails, so use a knife. And you want to bang in your tomatoes. Ooh. That is gross. Mix them around a tad. And you want to punk in your bolognese sauce. Shit. Basically like jarred tomato. 2 tablespoons of tomato that's a big tablespoon. Of tomato paste. Fuck, measuring cup, something like that. Mix it all together until it's blended nicely. And you got all the tomatoes mixed in together. Chuck in your seasoning. Bang. Stir it all together. And the secret ingredient to every spaghetti bolognese is 2 tablespoons of sugar in your spag. Now you know how I got all the oil out of the mince before and I said it's unhealthy for you? Well, that's just to equal out for adding sugar into your fucking meal. Mix it all together with a slotted spoon, because if you use a normal spoon, then the sauce is just gonna fucking splash up in your face and you're gonna be able to do nothing about it. Once you mix all that sauce together and you've had it bubbling for a bit, you're just gonna wanna fucking grab your meat, chuck it in, and mix it together. Get all the sauce all throughout the mince. Once your sauce is all mixed into your meat, you just fucking bang a lid on it. Keep it on a moderately high heat, just so it's like slightly bubbling over time. You don't want it to boil, it'll just fuck up your whole spag bowl. You just let it bubble, have the lid on, leave it for 40 minutes to an hour. Just check on it, see how it is, if you think it's cooked enough. But 20 minutes before, you gotta put your pasta on. So do that in 30 minutes. Alright, now that you've let it cook for about 30 minutes, make sure you've stirred it intermittently, probably like every 10 minutes or so. It should be looking really nice, and you can chuck it down to a really low temperature now and leave the lid off just to cook some of the wateriness out of it. If it's getting too dry, then just keep the lid on and then it won't go as dry. But if it's too watery, take the lid off and cook it for longer with the lid off. But we're gonna fucking bang on our pasta now, so we need to put some water in here that's gonna cover the pasta. Don't make the mistake of putting in like a little bit of water and then the pasta fits in it alright when it's dry. But as soon as it gets wet and expands, it just burns out, whatever the fuck. Just fill up your pot with water. Alright, bang it on the stove, chuck the heat on. Put the highest on a smaller kind of one. And then bang the lid on top of that and wait for it to boil basically. Now you got your water boiling, you take it down to like where it's just bubbling, but it's not like fucking flicking water and shit everywhere. Add like a couple of teaspoons of salt. Alright, and you want to grab your pasta and however much you want to cook up, depending on however much water you put in. You grab it. That's a lot of pasta. Chuck it in. Spread it around. And then let it melt a bit so you can push the whole pasta into the pot. Alright, and then just stab your pasta down into the water. And then make sure it's bubbling and let it cook for 12 minutes with a lid on the top. Alrighty, so your pasta should be cooked by now. Once it is, you grab yourself a fucking bowl of holes. Or a strainer. Strain it out into the sink. Flip it. Get all the excess little water bits off of there. It's going to be hot. It's going to be shit in your face. Don't worry. Chemical reaction. Turn the heat off. And then we can take our bolognese sauce off the heat as well. I took it off probably about 5 minutes before my pasta finished. Give it a stir. And then this motherfucker is done. And this motherfucker is done. And all that's left is you just get a bowl. And you put some pasta in the bowl. Put some meat on the pasta, grate some cheese, bang, and eat it, and it tastes fucking amazing. I just flung shit over it. So we're gonna do a taste test now. Alrighty, and now you put it up, you just enjoy the delicious taste of the spaghetti bolognese. Because that shit slaps, especially if you put brown sugar in it. It's fucking amazing. Yeah, we're gonna go to some people who ate it, and we're gonna see what they thought of my cooking. Apparently it's pretty good.
I'll be honest, bro. It's not on the heat.
Every
time you walk into Medis. Oh my god!
No! Oh shit, I made a mistake.
What you? Oh no!
Put it on the wrong side of my hand.
It's not on, bro.
That's not meant to cut there. Ow, I'm gonna pull my shoulder. Hashtag struggling.
Do you want me to open it for you?
Yeah.